Okay, so hi everybody. It is Monday, May, I don't know, 15th? 15th. And we're going to chat about one of my favorite meal plans and how to tweak it if you're not seeing progress, or maybe you've just done a lot of rounds of it like how I did, and you want to just get the most out of it. So here we go. So the 21-day fix tweaks, how to tweak the plan if you're not seeing progress. So thumbs up if you guys can see, especially you, Terex, I can see you, if you can see this slideshow. Good? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to start by telling you why I actually love this program, this eating program, we'll say too. Obviously, I love the workout. I love the whole 21-day fix. It's what I started with. I believe in it. Okay, why I love this program. First of all, the length of the program. So if you aren't familiar with a lot of Beachbody programs, one of the very first really popular programs is P90X. It's called P90X because it's actually 90 days in length. To stick with a workout program for 3 whole months is really tough. Even 60 days, like I've done a couple of programs, more than a couple, I've done 22-minute hardcore and hammer and chisel and 20 pile, they're 60 days. It's harder to stick with that. I think that we get bored easily, that kind of thing. 3 weeks or 21 days is totally doable, especially if you're a beginner. It's just long enough to start building up habits that you can carry forward. So that's one of the things I love about it. The length of the workouts. So again, going back to one of our biggest, most popular programs, P90X, some of the workouts, like the yoga, was actually 90 minutes long. So if you're like me and you're a busy mom, and when I started this, a very busy working mom, taking more than 30 minutes for yourself for a workout is pretty much impossible, right? But when I thought about it, when I was going to start and it was a 30-minute program, I was like, how do I not have at least 30 minutes in my day that I'm not using for something effectively? I know that I was scrolling Pinterest or watching TV for more than that, at least in a day, even on my busiest day. Excuse me. And then so to the meal plan. I love that you eat real food on this meal plan. I love that because I don't do hungry. Okay, so that was one of my biggest fears when I was going to start this program, was that I was going to be depriving myself because I don't do well with deprivation, and most people don't. And we won't really get into that hugely, but if you're not fueling your body, you're not burning the calories. So eating real food in proper portions without a whole bunch of restrictions really worked well for me. I have people come to me all the time telling me about the different types of meal plans they are doing, and to remember all of the rules and the foods you can eat and the foods you can't eat, and when to eat them and how to eat them, and all that stuff was just I wasn't really big into nutrition before this. So the fact that I started with just portion control was really, really good for me. Having all of these restrictions just makes it more complicated. And for me, it didn't work. So this just kind of taught me how to eat. It showed me what I was maybe eating too much of, obviously the yellows, the carbs, and what I wasn't eating enough of, which is the reds, the proteins, and the greens, your vegetables. So it was a learning process for me. And obviously, I love the results that I got from the 21-day fix. I love the results that I see my challengers get. I love the results that I see my fellow coaches get. It's hard to believe, I have challengers that have lost up to 22 pounds in a 21-day fix 3 weeks, which is insane and not typical. But in general, I usually see people are losing about 10 pounds in 3 weeks just by adjusting their eating habits and working out for 30 minutes a day. So seeing that makes me feel confident in the program, as well as obviously seeing my own results. So things to remember before we get into this. Don't try to tweak this plan until you've done at least 2 full rounds of it. You need your body to adjust properly. There's a lot going on when you start doing workouts for maybe the first time in a long time, or more strenuous workouts than you've done in a long time. You're going to have muscle soreness. And when that tissue breaks down, it's going to result in inflammation, which means maybe you're going to hold on to some extra fluid. Maybe your inches are going to go up a little bit. Maybe the scale isn't going to agree with you. So you need to work through that stuff first before you start tweaking it. Obviously, hydration. So making sure you're getting in tons and tons and tons of water is critical, not just for any kind of weight loss, but for muscle repair from any types of workouts that you're doing. So that's my little tidbit before we get into how to tweak it. Okay, so you have done at least 2 rounds of the fix. You have committed to the workouts. You have pushed yourself in the workouts. You have followed the meal plan to a T, and you have reached a plateau. Then this is for you. So my number 1 tip about tweaking the fix is food timing. So focus on when you're eating the foods that you're eating. So we're not changing what we're eating or anything like this. We're just focusing on when we're eating. So if you can eat your carbs or your yellows and your purples, your fruits, which have natural sugars in them, earlier in the day, then it gives your body more time to break them down. If you stick to water or tea after dinner rather than another snack, again, it just gives your body a little bit more time to actually use up the fuel that you have put into it, rather than continually putting like coals on the fire. It actually works better if you do let it rest for a bit. And that's something that we don't do a lot in our society now. We have like 6 meals a day, and our body never gets a chance to get hungry and burn up our fat stores. So food timing is the number 1 tip. Number 2, be picky with your purples. So even though this is not a restrictive meal plan, especially when you're just learning it, there are some fruits that are more sugary than others. And if you've followed any other type of meal plan, there's fruits that are forbidden. I don't like that. I think that any kind of deprivation actually just, it makes you want it more. It makes you feel like you're doing something that's not sustainable. But if you switch, so if you look at the fruits that maybe you get more nutritional bang for your buck with, and you work those into your meal plan more often than not, it's going to help. So things like berries, apples, pears, peaches, cherries, oranges, you get a lot of, your body breaks them down and uses that fuel really easily. Avoid dried fruits and dates. They are measured in an orange and they count as a yellow, and they have so much sugar in them because they're so concentrated, it's just not worth it to use them if you're trying to see results. Number 3, cut back on or eliminate dairy. So this was something that I learned so much about from the fix, from my fitness and nutrition certification. I really just didn't know much about dairy. I grew up on a farm. Obviously, farmers support farmers. I thought milk does the body good. I didn't know that we are like one of the only, well, we are the only animal that drinks another animal's milk, and we're the only animal that actually drinks milk after we're a baby. So you actually don't need milk, believe it or not. And obviously dairies and other things too, like cheeses and stuff like that. But it can cause so much inflammation in so many people, and a lot of people have intolerances to it and don't even realize that. But there's alternatives like almond milk, cashew milk, even soy milk to a degree. You want to be a little bit more choosy with your soy milk. But you can, if you take it easy on cheese and the other dairy products, you're going to notice that you're going to have less bloating, and it's probably going to help you get results a lot faster. So number 4, think in 3s. So I find this the easiest way to remember this. So if you think in 3s, so every single time you have either a snack or a meal, you're thinking in 3s. You want a red, which is a protein. You want a blue, an orange, or a teaspoon, which is a healthy fat. And you want a yellow or a carb / a fiber. When you eat in those 3s, it not only keeps your blood sugar level, it keeps your body not craving as much. It takes longer for your body to actually break that down, so you're not feeling hungry right away. Like, how many of us have binged on like a bag of chips or a bowl of ice cream, which obviously is not nutritionally very complete, and then like 10 minutes later we're hungry for something else? That's because our body just burns it so fast. Where if you eat in this group of 3, it's just going to help you burn your calories slower. You're going to feel full longer, and you're not going to have crazy cravings. So actually, to do a recipe for my co-op on this, and I did a sweet potato baked with plain Greek yogurt on it and avocado. So my sweet potato was my carb or my fiber, my Greek yogurt was my protein, and the avocado is my healthy fat, just to kind of give you an example. Okay, number 5, save a red for bed. So if you're like me and you are a chronic snacker, or you're somebody that just feels panicky if you don't eat something after supper, or maybe you're like me and you eat supper at 4:30, so it's not unrealistic to be hungry before bedtime. Save a red or a protein for after supper, and choose wisely which red you keep. Obviously, something like a couple hard-boiled eggs is awesome, or chicken, something like that. And don't worry about raw greens. So if you are hungry at bedtime, you really can't overeat raw veggies. Like, I'm not talking with like delicious dips and things like that, or sauteed and things, or boiled, but like raw veggies like your broccoli, your celery, snap peas, that kind of thing. If you're hungry, have your, your protein and some raw veggies, and it's not going to hurt your progress at all. Okay, number 6, don't skip your healthy fats. So a lot of us we came from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s when there was the big rush for low fat, non-fat diet, everything, and fats, the word fat became synonymous with fats actually make you fat. But then they didn't really distinguish between what types of fats there actually were and what these healthy fats that are naturally occurring in nature actually do for our bodies. So usually everyone loves their blue containers, cheeses, avocado, that kind of thing, nuts. But don't forget your oranges. So your seeds and your dressings, preferably oil-based, is best, and your teaspoons. So coconut oil, olive oil, walnut oil. Things like canola oil or vegetable oil are not naturally occurring. First of all, when you break vegetables down, they don't make oil. You have to process the crap out of them to actually get oil out of them. So something I didn't know, right? That's just not a good type of oil. These healthy fats are the key to your metabolism. They're the key to keeping you feeling full. They're the key to keeping your blood sugar level, and they're the key to kickstarting your metabolism, especially if you've hit a plateau. Okay, number 7, vary your meal sizes. So people get like crazy and they talk about cheat meals and cheat days and that kind of thing. And I was kind of in that mentality for a while, where like I do my round of the 6 and I was like, I'm gonna have like a couple cheat days, but the truth was, like, when I got to that cheat day, that I didn't really have the room in my stomach by then to actually fit all the things that I thought I should eat. So the best way to actually deal with this and to avoid plateaus is just like with fitness. So if you do the same type of fitness all the time, you're going to hit a plateau. So say all you do is run, or say all you do is like a workout that's very similar all the time, like any kind of cardio, for example. If you don't switch that up, you're not going to cause muscle confusion with your workouts. The same thing works with your food. So if you are having the exact same meal every single day at the exact same time, which I get it, like it's a lot easier to plan your meals when you are repeating a lot of stuff. But if you can actually plan 1 or 2 times a week to have a bigger meal, so maybe for like 2 dinners or 2 lunches a week, you're actually eating more of your containers in one sitting to boost your metabolism, then that's what it will do. So you're not eating more containers, but you're bulking them together more. So maybe you normally spread them out, but in this for 1 or 2 days, you're actually eating more of your containers in one meal. So number 8, stick to the top of the list. So I didn't even know this the first time I did the fix. I learned it later, that when you get your official booklet, or you look online, or you look at the grocery list, the foods near the top of the list are the most nutrient dense, so you get the most bang for your buck with those foods. Obviously, you go down. So for example, like you start with, say, sweet potatoes for your yellows, and then you work your way down to whole whole wheat bread, you're going to get more nutritionally out of the sweet potato. It's going to give you better results, and it's going to make you feel better, less processed than the whole wheat bread at the bottom. If you stick to the top foods, you're going to get the best fuel for your body. Number 9. So back to the workouts here, like push it in your workouts. It is so simple, like it's so easy, say when you're going through your first round especially, that like maybe you're just struggling to even do the workouts for the first time. I know I was, like I had 3-pound weights that I had to put down a lot. and you know, like it was a struggle just to get through the workouts. But by round 2, I saw that my strength was increasing, and it was time to increase my weights. And I've been steadily doing that. You want to increase your weight. You want to make sure you're counting your reps. So maybe in ab moves or things like, you know, when you're doing the press and your leg lowers, you're counting that. And when you repeat it, you want to make sure you're beating it. You want to be pushing yourself. It is so easy to get into a workout and just give it, you know, like half of your effort. But really, if you're taking that 30 minutes for yourself for this workout, don't you want to make the best out of it? Like you don't want to have to work out 60 minutes a day. That's why people that wander the gym for an hour and a half are not making any progress, because they're not pushing themselves. If you can get in there for 30 minutes, push yourself, get it done, you're going to see results. I've seen it with myself and with tons of people. So Energize, I use that for a pre-workout boost. It's naturally a pre-workout formula, so it doesn't have caffeine and added sugar and that kind of thing into it. I don't have any like shakes and that kind of stuff after. But it is good for me on those days that I'm finding it hard to do a really intense workout, or I'm, you know, nervous about doing that, keeping my stamina, that kind of thing. You should be a little sore after each workout. So I know by like week 2, when you first start the fix, for example, by week 2, you're feeling less sore because you have attacked those muscles for the first time in a long time. And then by week 2, you know, you're kind of getting used to it a little bit. You're strengthening, some of those tears are repairing, but you should still be a little sore after each workout, maybe later that night or the next day, because that's a good sign that you pushed yourself. Okay. Number 10, avoid processed foods. So again, I was talking about this with the fat. Avoid low fat, fat-free, light versions of food, because whenever fat is taken out of any kind of food, it is replaced with sugar to flavor it, because the fat in foods is what provides a lot of the flavor. So when this big kick was on about, you know, fats are bad, fats make you fat, they made this whole, and a lot of it, if you're interested in seeing it, a lot of it was actually the studies and stuff on the fats were conducted by the sugar companies, which is a multi-billion-dollar corporation in North America, with vested interests, obviously, in making sure that lots of sugar is used. You want to limit canned foods. So we live in Canada, I get it. We can't always have fresh produce, but if you are looking at canned foods in the wintertime, make sure that you're getting the ones where there's no salt added or limited salt added, because they do that to preserve it, and you don't need that in your life. And obviously, in a perfect world, stick as close to whole foods as possible that you can. Not only will you feel a million times better eating real foods, but it's gonna make sure that your results are happening quicker. It's gonna keep everything moving really well. It's gonna keep your inflammation and your bloating down. There's just endless benefits to eating real foods. Okay, so number 11, avoid the perfection mind trap. So this comes from years of maybe dieting or restricting or trying to lose weight or not maybe having a healthy body image. But a lot of us have this all or nothing mindset. So maybe we have a bad day and things don't go as planned. Maybe an appointment runs late, then we end up eating out, then we make bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. And all of a sudden this day is just shot. And you ate crappy and you feel like crap. But then you're like, well, this round is shot, or this week is shot, or this weekend's shot. You need to break up with that. If you have a bad day or you have a bad meal, you need to move on and you need to pick it back up the next day. you know, really strong. You don't need to restrict. This isn't one of those things where you like use your points all one day or use your calories all one day, so then the next day you can't have as much. It doesn't work like that. You don't want to be in that mindset. You don't want to undereat, and you don't want to start doubling up on workouts thinking that, okay, if I just work out more, I'll burn more calories and yesterday won't matter and blah, blah, blah. Not only is that not a healthy mindset, it's not healthy for your body, it's not healthy for your metabolism, it's not healthy for everything. So you need to break up with that perfection mind trap. That is huge. Okay, this isn't just a diet, right? This isn't just a crash diet for 21 days. I've been doing this for 2 years. I've yet to see anyone who has only done one round of the 21-day fix because that got them to their goals and they're never going to need anything else again. This is about building healthy eating habits and workout habits that can last you a lifetime. Also, it's about learning to make it work with your life. So like I said, like if you want to go out to a restaurant, you learn how much a portion size is supposed to look like. We have huge portion sizes. I will say this, Canada is better than oftentimes portion-wise than some of the restaurants in the States, but Canada has its share of problems too. Like we have stuff come to you at a restaurant and it's like, you know, probably 4 people's worth of French fries or mashed potatoes, or the size of meat could probably feed you for 3 days. You learn to, you know, maybe you cut it in half, you take half home, you've got lunch for the next day. You just need to learn to make it work with your body, and then you'll see the benefits from fueling your body with good food. Nothing complicated, no crazy pills or wraps or anything like that. So even though, like I told you guys what I love about this, I told you how you can tweak it if you do find you're hitting a plateau after following it, you know, really carefully for a couple of rounds. But there is change happening, even if you're not seeing stuff happen on the scale, or you're not seeing the inches drop, or you know, your dress sizes go down right away. There's things happening inside of you because you're eating better and working out, that happen from the inside out. So you're improving your gut health. The bacteria and stuff in your gut, if your gut is not healthy, you cannot be healthy. It affects so much in your life. You know, when you start working out and eating well, your bad cholesterol levels start decreasing, your arteries start clearing, your blood vessels are working more efficiently, your muscles are stronger, so you can pick up your kids and you can, you know, carry an extra bag of groceries in, and you don't feel like winded when you go up a set of stairs. And for us women, when you start to incorporate things like a little bit of strength training, so with weights, your bone density is increasing, and women have such a high chance of osteoporosis that when you actually increase your muscle, you're increasing your bone density, and helping combat the chance of osteoporosis, which is awesome. So that is the end of my slideshow. I'm just going to go back to full screen for a second, and I'm not on mute, am I? Everyone can hear me, right? Wouldn't that have been something if I just did the whole thing in mute? Okay, so I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm just going to end the recording.